In Port Charles, the thin line between order and chaos has always depended on a few exhausted souls who refuse to look away when everyone else does. Dante Falconeri has been one of them for years, a cop who understands that justice in this town is never clean, never simple, and never fully legal. But as whispers spread that Anna Devane has vanished on a classified WSB mission, that fragile line begins to fray. Officially, there is nothing for the PCPD to confirm or deny. Unofficially, everyone knows that whenever Anna disappears under the banner of agency business, something is wrong on a level no one is prepared to admit. Dante feels it first in the quiet moments, the missing voice of the one person he's trusted to stand between him and the moral freefall that always lurks beneath the badge. Without Anna, the department isn't just understaffed. It is leaderless in spirit, exposed, and dangerously vulnerable to forces that understand exactly how to exploit its weaknesses. Beneath the routine reports and tidy language of procedure, Dante senses a pattern of shadows moving in sync, as if someone has been waiting for this precise window where Anna is gone, the WSB is stonewalling, and the PCPD is forced to work half-blind. The deeper problem isn't just that Anna is off-grid. It's that this mission doesn't feel like hers. She has taken on black operations before, but those moves, no matter how secret, still carried her fingerprints. Meticulous planning, select confidants, subtle messages for those who knew her best. This time there is only silence, a suffocating absence that doesn't match the woman Dante knows. Files vanish, authorizations appear without traceable origin, and the explanation that she has been reassigned comes wrapped in the oily sheen of someone else's agenda. Dante recognizes the signs of a cover operation designed to keep even allies in the dark. That means one of two things: either Anna has chosen to walk into something so toxic she cannot risk contact with anyone in Port Charles, or she is being used as a smokescreen by someone inside or around the WSB whose interests have nothing to do with justice. Both possibilities send the same chill down Dante's spine. If Anna is compromised, every criminal with a long memory for her victories, every enemy who survived her takedowns, now has an opening to resurface and settle old scores, with the department, with her legacy, and with the city she spent her life defending. Inside the station, the consequences are immediate and quietly devastating. Cases stall because there is no one with Anna's instincts to recognize the real threat buried beneath fabricated alibis. Leads that would once have been chased relentlessly are downgraded, delayed, or re-evaluated until they die. The rank and file split into uneasy camps. Those who miss Anna but are afraid to question official orders, those who resent her influence and see her absence as freedom, and those who suspect there is something rotten in the way her disappearance has been framed. Dante stands at the fault line, watching supervisors lean more heavily on political caution than investigative courage, watching resources diverted to safe cases while the truly dangerous ones slip to the bottom of the pile. He is loyal, but not blind. He knows what it looks like when a system starts to bend under pressure from unseen hands. The PCPD no longer looks like a force prepared to confront the next wave of organized crime, espionage, or corporate corruption. It looks like a department being softened up. And there is only so much one man, however determined, can do without backup he trusts. That is precisely why the idea begins to surface, first as a rumor, then as a possibility, then as an almost desperate necessity: Nathan West. His name returns like a ghost at shift changes, in hushed conversations between detectives who remember when the badge meant something more than political survival. Nathan wasn't just another cop, he was the reminder that decency could exist inside a broken system without being naive. His approach was direct, principled, and infuriatingly consistent in a town addicted to compromises. In a moment when the PCPD is bleeding credibility and losing anchors, the thought of Nathan reclaiming his place in the squad room feels less like fanfare and more like triage. A department stripped of Anna's leadership needs someone who can stand toe-to-toe with the darkness circling Port Charles without flinching, and without secretly working for it. Nathan fits that mold in a way that rattles people who have grown comfortable pushing paper instead of pushing back. But if there is a path back for Nathan, it won't be a simple reinstatement framed as nostalgia. This is Port Charles, where resurrection, literal or figurative, comes at a cost. If Nathan returns, it must be on terms that match the world he's walking into, darker, more compromised, and layered with questions about who engineered Anna's supposed mission, who benefits from her absence, and whether the same forces now want to manipulate Nathan's integrity for their own ends. For him, getting his old detective job back cannot mean slipping into a familiar chair and pretending nothing has changed. It would mean stepping into a maze of half-truths, buried investigations, and invisible allegiances, where even the WSB's shadow looms as a potential adversary. If Nathan plays his cards right, he can become the counterweight Dante so desperately needs. Someone who can reopen leads that were prematurely shut, challenge directives that smell of interference, and force the department to choose a side between timid obedience and actual law enforcement. But playing those cards right also requires recognizing that he will be standing in the crosshairs of the same network that seems determined to keep Anna silent and the PCPD subdued. For Dante, the arrival, or even the prospect, of Nathan's return shifts the emotional balance. He has been carrying the burden of suspicion almost alone, weighing how far he can push without destroying his own badge in the process. With Nathan in the picture, he doesn't just gain a colleague. He gains a mirror, someone who will call him out if he hesitates, someone who will not let the department sink into quiet complicity. The two of them together would represent a line in the sand to anyone trying to hollow out the PCPD from the inside. And that is exactly what makes Nathan's potential comeback so dramatic. It is not a sentimental reunion. It is a challenge thrown at corrupt officials, hidden operatives, and every predator who has mistaken Anna's absence for permanent weakness. His presence would force secrets into the light. Why was Anna sent away now? Who signed off on the mission? What operations slipped through the cracks during her disappearance? Which officers looked the other way, and why? At its core, this moment in Port Charles is not just about staffing or rotation or one missing veteran agent. It is about whether the institutions meant to protect this city still belong to people who believe in that mission, or whether they have become tools for those who profit from confusion and fear. Anna's shadow stretches over every corridor of the station, a constant reminder of the standard once set. Dante feels the weight of living up to it. Nathan, if he steps back into this world, will feel the pressure of redefining it. Their potential alliance offers a spark of hope, but a dangerous one, because hope like that always provokes a response. Those working in the dark will not stand still while two of Port Charles's most relentless truth seekers begin to connect the dots. The game around them is already in motion. Files have been altered. Evidence has been misdirected. Alliances have been quietly rearranged. By the time Anna's true situation is exposed, whether she is trapped, betrayed, or deeper undercover than anyone imagined, the PCPD will either have found its backbone again through people like Dante and Nathan, or it will have surrendered it entirely. And that is what makes this coming chapter so compelling. Anna's disappearance is not a pause in the story, it is the catalyst. Dante's uneasy awareness is the warning siren. Nathan's potential return is the turning point that could decide which way the scales tip. If he plays his cards right, he won't just reclaim a job. He'll help drag an entire department back from the brink, or go down fighting against forces that have finally underestimated the wrong men.